Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Non Sequitur Nerds. I think this is episode 5 now. As always, I'm Tim, and joined, as always, by Ian. Ian, how you doing today?
Hey, buddy, I'm doing pretty good. It's been a pretty long week, but I'm glad for the weekends
Oh yeah,
and some time to relax and chat with you as always.
oh yeah, I hear that, man. I hear that. This was one of those weeks that just seemed to drag on forever.
Yeah, yeah. So today, thanks for joining us, folks. We've got kind of an action-packed, fun-filled show. I'm lying; it's not action-packed, and I hope you're having fun. We are.
I don't have an explosion sound effect queued up, Ian. I'm sorry.
You have failed me.
I've got a sad trombone. Does that count?
Womp, womp, womp. Anyway, so first up on the agenda today. Um, the culture of instant gratification. This is something that many of us have kind of grown up with lately. Especially for the new Zoomer generation.
Yep.
Everything you can get everything digitally, instantaneously.
Well,
Everybody's got
instantaneously, air quotes there.
right. I mean, my gig internet connection still beats your whatever country boy internet
you
connection
you leave my
is.
hamster on a wheel internet alone, all right?
Yeah, have you fed it lately? Otherwise, we might lose Tim.
I mean, that's how I increase my bandwidth. I just give it a little bit of sugar.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that generally works. So yeah, instant gratification culture. These days you can get almost anything, quote unquote, instantly.
Right.
You download books, you download video games. You don't have to go to a store anymore to purchase anything. Hell, you can buy your groceries from the comfort of your own couch. All you have to do is pull up things like Instagram Shipped or whatever other thing is out there. Amazon, I think, has their own stuff.
Which
Uh,
the grocery thing is just a weird concept to me because like when I go grocery shopping, I have a list of items I need. I don't necessarily know what brand I need. Like it's all right, pick up spaghetti sauce. I might just go and go, all right, well the list says spaghetti sauce. I might get spaghetti sauce with meat in it, or I might get spaghetti sauce with, garlic and herbs in it, or I might get a different brand. So like for me, the online grocery thing is just it almost feels like, the choice is being taken out of my hands. Like I have to pick on the spot what brand of spaghetti sauce I want, what size I want. And I guess maybe that kind of speaks to my shopping habits that I have a general idea of what I want, but not a definitive idea when it comes to groceries anyway.
Yeah, I think I'm much in the same boat. I kind of do half of my shopping while I'm there because you make your grocery list beforehand, then you go to the store, and then like you do, I pick out what I need when I'm there. Grab either what makes sense financially or what sounds good at that point. But
Right.
there's a lot of the times I'm in the grocery store, like I was earlier today, and I'm picking up stuff that I didn't have on my list because I'm going, oh yeah, I could probably use that or thinking that I needed something that's when I actually didn't, which is why I have 3 giant jars of peanut butter downstairs.
Well, see, the same kind of thing. Like earlier today, I had some errands I had to run, and decided, you know what, I'm gonna stop at the local mall. You remember the ill-fated Concord Mall is still standing. All,
Barely.
all 3 stores in it. Sadly, I remember when that used to be the go-to. But anyway, I'm like, you know what? I'm nearby. I'm gonna stop at like the pizza place there, Enzo's Pizza, which amazing pizza. They've never let me down. And then my wife goes, well, hey, while we're here, can I pick up a couple hair bands? Like, okay, sure. So after walking around the mall and realizing that pretty much everything that would have headbands is closed, we're like, all right, well, we'll just go down to J.C. Penney's. Randomly browsed around there, found some headphones, hair bands, and then on the way out, we're like, well, we got some time to kill. Let's go to Hobby Lobby. And I didn't really have any intent on it, but I still bought a few odds and ends things from there.
I must say I do applaud you for being able to go into a Hobby Lobby. Every time I set foot within a 10-foot radius of that store, I wind up getting an instantaneous migraine due to the cornucopia of different smells. I think I have an overtly sensitive nose when it comes to those kind of things. So like
Yeah.
Joann Fabrics, Hobby Lobby, those kind of stores. I mean, even walking by something like a Bed Bath and Beyond or a Bath and Body Works, where they have all the different fragrances,
Oh
I
yeah.
can't be in there for more than a few minutes. I would always tell my ex-wife when she'd go in there, it's like you got 10 minutes, and then if I walk out of the store, just don't ask, don't get mad, because understand that I'm probably developing migraine.
Right. Well, see, like for me, Hobby Lobby, it's never a destination store. Like I don't ever to-do list today, go to Hobby Lobby. But like if I'm randomly walking around that mall, like I mean I'll pop in see what they have. And I actually was looking at when we were walking around, I walked down their model aisle, which I mean, in the past, Hobby Lobby had always had like, classic car models, muscle cars, military vehicles. They've actually expanded a little bit. They had some Pokemon models, some Gundam models, Star Wars vehicle models. I was kind of surprised because the last time, I mean, granted, it's been a while since I've been in there and looked at that particular section, it was always just model cars, which I've never been a huge fan of. But I mean, you know me, back in the day, I used to put Gundam models together all the time. I mean, I still have, oh, let me look over here, like two or three that I bought a couple months ago that I still need to put together. I just haven't gotten around to. But I ended up buying like two like super tiny Gundam models that are like 10-piece snap together things just for a little decoration on my desk.
Like chibi Gundams.
Well, I mean, they're not even they're proportionate, but they're
Mm.
like 3 inches tall. Yeah, it's,
Okay.
just little like fun. They're like $6, I think.
Yeah. So I mean, getting off and on topic again. So we're always used to these things like I said, instant gratification. I've found that nowadays it's almost irritating, like when we don't get the thing that we're, or when it doesn't happen, or happen in the way that we expect it to. The example that I'm going to use this week is I had to order a couple of parts of things on Amazon for
Mhm.
some stuff for my work. I was getting some PC mounts.
Okay.
These are just like, I work in research and development, so these were just like test units. I needed something quickly. I didn't want to go through procurement. I've got a corporate card, so I just said to hell that I bought a couple on Amazon. They
There
were
you go.
supposed, it was like next day delivery because I'm a Prime member. Like, all right, cool. Next day delivery. My daughter was expecting some shoes in the mail as well because my sister got her some shoes for her birthday. Her
Okay.
birthday was last week, and we were expecting shoes in the mail. So I'm working yesterday, and the doorbell rings. I'm like, oh, okay, that's probably the Amazon guy. He's just going to put some stuff there. And then I get a text message going, hey, your Amazon driver needs help. I'm going, what the hell does he need help for? All he's delivering is a box, is maybe a box of shoes and some 5-pound monitor mounts.
Right.
So I go downstairs, and he left the, I don't know why I got the text, but he left the package on the shoes and the mount on the thing. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I only got one of the mounts because I ordered two.
Mhm.
So opened it and inspected it. All right, cool. I'll take it to the office later. Help my daughter open her shoes, so on and so forth.
Right.
Then later on in the day, I finished work and I went to go out to my mailbox, check my mail, and open the mailbox, and there's another package in my mailbox, and it's the other mount that I had ordered. And I'm going, wait,
Wh-
Amazon delivered this stuff in two different ways. I got I got I got shoes, and I got the one mount
yeah.
delivered literally to my door, and then the other one got put in my mailbox.
Did Was it like on two different trucks or something, or?
I don't know. I didn't look, but I'm just like, why? Why? This seems like this is not a good economy of scale here.
Well,
Like this seems like wasted effort. I get, you know, I get shipping different times, but I'm pretty sure they both came from the same place.
right.
But then I had ordered some cables for another thing, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you should expect that to arrive, sometime beginning of February because we're on back order." Well, I got a notification yesterday like, "Hey, your thing shipped." Like, all
Okay.
right. I mean, cool. I'll gladly, I'll be happy to receive it early. Figuring, all right, cool. It should be here maybe by the end of the weekend or Monday. And then I looked at the order again. I'm like, oh, we're shipping U.S. Postal Service. Like, oh, okay.
Oh.
That explains why I won't get it until February.
Yeah. Well, see, like me, I'm kind of the opposite. I had ordered a couple things off of Amazon, and I saw that, here in the middle of nowhere, that maybe about 10 minutes from the house, there's now a one of those Amazon locker locations. You can just go whenever, and even though it's 20 minutes from my house, I can get something next day instead of getting it. I missed 2-day Prime shipping. I'm going to say that for starters, being in the middle of nowhere. But normally, even on free shipping, it's 4 or 5 days. So, all right, so it takes 20 minutes to drive those extra 3 or 4 days, or I don't know how time works. But anyway, so that's part of the reason that I was taking my time running those errands earlier. Is I'm like, all right, well, it's out for delivery. I can swing by there on the way home. Let's see. It went out for delivery 5 hours ago now, and it's still not there. I mean, granted, it's those locker things, so they're you can go to them 24/7. But it's like I don't really want to make another trip out now to get this. And I had ordered part of that shipment. I had ordered a book for a tabletop game I'm going to be doing, which we'll get into that later. And all on the same order. That book's arriving tomorrow. So now it's like, okay, do I want to go back out again later tonight, get the first part of that shipment, and then go back out again tomorrow and get the book, or do I just want to wait till tomorrow and get it? You know? But it's like you
Yeah.
said, it's that instant gratification thing of, okay, well, it says next day. And granted, I know a day is 24 hours, and I think a lot of this is the conditioning of the culture that we're in, of getting that stuff right away. You know, and when you're expecting a package, when it says arriving tomorrow, you know, I don't know about you, but if it's coming to my house, I'm sitting there every time I hear any kind of vehicle pass, throwing open the curtains, you know, like some, you know, the creepy neighbor, and just peering around outside all wide-eyed, scaring the neighborhood kids, you know, until my package finally shows up. Oh, hey,
Well,
ironically, my package is ready for pickup. I just got an email.
all right then. Apparently,
All right, that's the show,
solution to
folks. I'll see you later. No.
the solution to the problem is to complain about it, which is something that we are incredibly good at.
That we are. That we are. Now, I wonder if that book ended up being tagged along with that. Nope, still out for delivery. Arriving
Well,
tomorrow.
there you go.
There,
So,
I still have something to complain about.
exactly. Well, I mean, there's always something to complain about. So yeah, I mean, it's the instant gratification culture. You know, we're stuck in this loop. You know, this concept of, you know, we ordered it, we should get it now.
Right.
So you know, it's one of those things where it's just like I want it. You know, I got it, and I want it now. Like, I pay for Prime, I expect it to show up when when I'm told it's supposed to show up. At
Right.
the same time, like, most of the stuff that I order, it's not like a necessity. It's not like I'm bleeding out and I've ordered a suture kit
Right.
that I need to right that instant. So, you know, the instant gratification culture is something that's definitely different. It's something that I'm trying to teach my kids not to expect everything right now.
Right.
I don't know about your kids, but mine definitely have a bad habit of, you know, walking up, hey, dad, dad, dad,
Yep.
dad. It's like, I've heard you the first time. I am very obviously doing something.
You're right.
And just because I haven't acknowledged you within the quarter of a second when you said my name does not mean that I don't hear you. It means that I am busy concentrating on something. So,
Yep.
of course, it usually proceeds. By the time that I actually finish what I'm doing or finish my thought, my head
Hmm.
is about ready to turn on a swivel, a la The Exorcist, and I, you know, yeet a kid out a window. But you know, it's something we got to, you know, I'm trying to work with them on and teach them. It's like, patience, kids,
Right.
patience.
Well, I mean,
And
and
in this culture where you have all of human knowledge at your fingertips, it's, you know, you gotta learn some patience.
right. Well, I think a lot of it, you know, the patience thing's a big thing. I mean, you and I, you know, we grew up in the before times of Amazon, you know, or back when Amazon started, which it was just books mainly,
Yeah,
but
books and CDs.
yeah, but like as an example, the items that showed up today, I mean, I'm in the middle of nowhere. I mean, I could drive an hour, maybe a little less, and get these items today if I really wanted to. But it's that convenience of I don't have to drive an hour. And I mean, even like for you, where you live, I mean, there's an Amazon fulfillment center, what, 20 minutes from your house?
I think there's three of them.
For oh, good lord.
They're positioned around Indianapolis. Yes.
But I mean, even for you being in, you know, in more of a metropolitan area, you could drive 15 minutes and probably get the majority of things you buy. But it's that convenience factor of you don't have to worry about it. It's already paid for. You can go about doing something else. Now, I mean, if it's something that I absolutely need that day, I mean, yeah, I'll make the trip an hour to go to, you know, somewhere in a bigger city and get what I need. Or, you know, if it's something that the ever present Walmart has, you know, I'll drive 20 minutes to go to the closest one and get it there. But again, it's just that convenience of I don't have to make that drive, but you still have that that whole thing of, but I still want it now. You know?
Yep. Yep. I absolutely get that. So, if you want to take a lesson away from this, we're not going to preach, but at the same time, we are. Be patient, folks.
Right. I mean, more than anything, especially in this day and age, just be patient with one
Yep.
another, especially.
Yep. All right. Well, now that we have finished preaching to our poor audience that came here for entertainment, not a life lesson. So, um, media and culture, speaking of culture, media, there's been a lot going on in entertainment industry lately. So, one of the things that I've not I've been kind of heads down this week, with school and kids and work and everything else. So I haven't been quite caught up on media as I
Mhm.
need to be, but I've been seeing these teaser trailers. There's, I think, 5 of them out at this point, teasing the actual release of this Godzilla versus King Kong uh,
Right.
trailer that's supposed to come out, I believe, tomorrow.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
tomorrow for
and
us.
Right, and admittedly, I'm actually really interested. Like, I'm kind of
Yes.
waiting, and I wanna see it because my personal opinion, I saw the last 2 Godzilla movies that they
Mhm.
did, the Godzilla and then Godzilla King of the Monsters. I loved them. I thought they
Yeah.
were great.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
the first one was you don't see Godzilla on screen for, he's on screen maybe 15 minutes out of the whole movie. It definitely had more of a human element to it,
Well, it's
but
kind of
his
like Cloverfield kind of did that, where you
yeah.
didn't actually see the monster until you saw very little of it.
Yeah, and it was a I just enjoyed it. Like, it felt very new, but also nostalgic. The design,
Right.
the sound editing, Godzilla's atomic breath and that noise when he builds up
Hmm.
the thing. You get
Oh
goosebumps
yeah.
when you hear that. At least for folks like you and me who
Oh yeah.
grew up with the old dubbed over Godzilla movies and
Which are still
the
amazing. Don't get me wrong; those are still amazing.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No, they're a lot of fun. The guy in the foam rubber suit, and so I mean, it's a lot of fun. And I really, I'm looking forward to this
Mhm.
because, I admittedly I haven't seen the latest King Kong movie. Was it King Kong on Skull Island or something like that? I
Yeah,
haven't seen that one yet. I need to see it. Well, I don't need to see it, but I want to see it.
I'm pretty sure you don't need to know the super deep King Kong lore to know what's going on in Godzilla versus Kong.
Right. I mean, it's basically, Rampage the video game turned into a movie, even though they took Rampage the video game and
Did
turned it into a movie. But we
did you
don't want to
see
talk about that.
that? Did you see the
No,
Rampage? Okay, I was
no.
like, I've heard some people say that, like, I mean, obviously it's a video game movie. They kind of have a stigma. Let's be honest. But like, I've heard that
Thank you,
it's
UA
we don't mention that name here. But no, I heard from a couple people that watched it that it's actually it's one of those stupid fun movies.
Mm. Well, if I remember correctly, the Rampage movie was actually the highest rated video game movie on Rotten Tomatoes until Sonic the Hedgehog came out.
Okay, I was gonna say, I'm hoping that's until because like Sonic, I absolutely loved that movie.
I still haven't seen it. It's on my
What?
list. I still haven't seen. Yeah, I know. I'm a terrible. I'm a
How have you not
terrible
seen
nerd.
that?
I'm a terrible nerd. I've got a lot of I got a lot of things going on in my life, man. Don't nerd shame me.
I am genuinely surprised you haven't seen that. Actually, I figured that would be one that like you'd watch like day of home release or something. Wow.
Well, I'm again lots of stuff going on, and I'm
Well,
cheap.
yeah. Well,
So
that's true.
until I can get it on a streaming service that I already pay for, I might not watch it.
Until I can watch it for free, I'm not watching it. And even then, it
Absolutely,
might be a while.
absolutely, because that's just the kind of luddite that I am.
There you go.
So
But no, no, yeah, Godzilla versus Kong. I'm definitely interested in that one. Um, I think obviously since Godzilla's got top billing, I think it's going to lean more towards Godzilla kind of dominating that fight, especially since let's see, Kong is big and strong. Godzilla's big, strong, damn near impervious, has atomic weaponry, breath power stuff. Uh, yeah. I mean, it's still gonna be a fun. It's
yeah.
still gonna be a fun watch.
Oh, sure. It'll be fun, and I'm again eagerly waiting for that one to come out. It's probably not going to be out until later this year. I actually don't know when it's going to be out.
I I
Uh,
I think because I know a lot of the movies that were supposed to come out last year, especially with all the stuff going on with theaters having limited releases or being closed for the majority of the year. A lot of them, it seems, are fall, like fall and holiday, which I mean is typically a big time for movies anyway. But
Yeah.
it seems like it's going to be another summer without big blockbusters.
Yeah,
At
well, I
least for
mean they
theater anyway.
right. Well, I mean they moved up the launch of what was it? They moved up the launch. They moved up, I believe, Black Widow. Isn't that coming out sometime in March? I think.
March or May, I think. It's
Yeah,
one of the
one of
end
those
months.
two. But I mean, with theaters closed, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't really paid as close attention to movies lately.
You know,
It's just
yeah,
in movies and trailers. It's just and I think we've talked about this before. You
Mm,
just miss some of that experience,
yeah,
that theatrical huzzaness of having a giant 130-foot screen in front of you as you
yeah,
you know the your seat and your eardrums rumbling as the surround sound kicks in, especially for like actiony type
right.
movies. It's
Well, I
probably
mean,
not going to get that from like the Nicholas Sparks movie,
it's right.
unless the rumbling is from your significant other crying next to you.
Well, I mean, and even some of the movies that manage to go to theaters, maybe it's just me and how my watching habits, but even the movies that did get theatrical releases last year, I didn't really see a whole lot of advertisements for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably going to be. We probably might be seeing a shift in the way they're doing some of their advertising because a lot of times movies. I mean, half the budget of a movie is spent on advertising.
Right, letting people know that
Uh,
hey, this is a thing, go see it.
Right. So, I think a lot of the times anymore, they're almost relying on, especially streaming services, they're
Hmm.
relying on, like advertisements in their own streaming services, like Disney Plus.
Right,
Occasionally we'll throw up an ad for one of their movies or shows or something like that when you go to launch something.
right,
Or, they'll have like a banner, the rotating banner ticker at the top, showing like, an image and whatnot. Like,
right. What's
it's
new?
like, hey, it's like what's new? Or it's like, hey, coming soon, XYZ or something like that.
Right.
But and then I know there's another movie that you and I are looking forward to, that you in particular are looking forward to, that I think you said earlier got pushed back, right?
Is it Ghostbusters?
That's what I'm alluding to.
Is it Ghostbusters? Because I want to see Ghostbusters right now. No, yeah, yeah. Ghostbusters is going to be coming out in November of this year now, right after my birthday. So that's going to be my birthday present to myself. But that's one that, I loved the original two from the '80s. I thought that the reboot was. I absolutely loved the reboot. I thought it was really great for what it was. I mean, obviously it was a different continuity. I absolutely loved it though. I don't understand. Well, now let me take that back. I know why some people hated on it. I don't agree with why they hated on it because I thought it was a fantastic film. But I am absolutely looking forward to a continuation of the original series that I grew up with, and I'm still a huge fan. I mean, Ghostbusters is easily my number one favorite, film and film franchise.
Yeah, and I don't get, like, I understand like people are passionate about stuff, but I
Yeah,
really have no idea how folks can go from zero to death threats
yeah,
over when stuff when you met when changes are made to the things they like.
yeah.
That's the nature of the beast. That's the nature of Hollywood, of all things. Like, innovate and grow.
Oh yeah.
Like, you don't grow by doing the same thing over and over again. You don't grow.
Hmm.
What the definition of insanity is: hitting your head against a brick wall and expecting the wall to move.
Right.
So,
Well, and I mean,
you have to do things a little bit different. And then,
yeah.
they want to reboot some of these franchises and whatnot. I mean, Jesus, how many Spider-Man reboots have we had? It finally took, a partnership between Marvel and Sony to actually get a decent Spider-Man movie.
Well, I mean, Marvel knows what they're doing with their movies, but going back to the Ghostbusters thing, I don't remember which one of the original actors it was, but when the reboot came out and they're like, oh, it's gonna be all four female Ghostbusters, and people are all up in arms. One of the original actors said, well, do you guys really want an hour and a half of 60-plus-year-old, out of shape guys huffing and puffing and having trouble to breathe going upstairs while carrying a 40-pound prop? Which, I mean, valid point. Bill Murray is not a young spring chicken anymore. I mean, Harold
I mean,
Ramis.
none of them are.
Well, yeah, I mean, Harold Ramis sadly isn't even with us anymore. Or
Right.
they're not
Rest
young
in peace.
actors. Exactly. Yes, yes, they're not young actors anymore. eventually it's going to have to get to a point where, if we get, Ghostbusters 4, I mean, we still don't even know, how Ghostbusters 3 is going to go. But, I mean, if we get Ghostbusters 4, chances are we probably won't even see any of the original actors in that. I mean, they're, at least from what we're being told, it's just going to be cameos as their original characters in the new movie coming out later this year, is what they're telling us. But I don't think we're going to get another full-length feature featuring, the remaining cast of the original Ghostbusters as the main characters. So I'm all for, reboots and reimaginings as long as they're done well. I mean, there have been some amazing reboots of things. There have been some absolutely terrible reboots of things.
Yeah, I mean that's just the nature of it, though. I mean, that's how it goes. You can't win them all. Not everything can be a blockbuster. You
Oh
have to
yeah.
have failures, and it's from those failures that you learn. Unless you're UA Bowl.
Well, I mean, and
Uh,
even when you have blockbusters, you're not going to please 100% of the people that were excited about that particular project. There's always going to be the
especially when you have a new or when you're rebooting an old IP.
Oh yeah. Well, it's like there's been rumblings of a Back to the Future reboot for a while now, and like that's if they go through with that, that's something that's gonna divide fans.
Well, it will divide fans, but I don't think it's going to be a problem because Robert Zemeckis, the guy that the director and of the original, owns the rights to those movies,
Oh
and he
really?
says, and yes, and he has said that there will be no reboot of Back to the Future unless it's over his cold dead corpse.
Oh well.
So, as far as and that's exactly what the things were, is that they were rumors.
Right.
From everything, and my brother, who we featured on this podcast,
Hmm.
is he Back to the Future is his absolute favorite IP ever. Like that is
I did not
he
know
is
that.
yes, Back to the Future is his absolute favorite. Which, for those of you out there, my brother does have his own not podcast, but video series that he does on YouTube. Go and check it out. His very first episode talks about Back to the Future.
No, right
It's
on.
really good. So yeah, he there's no way that he and I have heard the same thing. There's absolutely no way that Robert Zemeckis is going to allow a reboot of Back to the Future. It's just not going to happen.
Well, I mean, kudos to him for sticking to his guns. Absolutely. I mean, the fact that he cares that passionately about the thing that he created to just flat out say no, that shows a real love for the project.
Right. Exactly. So, I'm looking forward to Ghostbusters. I'm
Hmm.
sad to hear that it is delayed, but the way that I always look at it is, delayed is still not canceled.
Yep.
Um, and delayed generally means that there's more time to fix stuff.
So,
Everybody gets up in arms like when things get delayed. It's like, I get it, like I want it, but
right.
if they're delaying it, it's because there's a reason.
Which,
Like,
well, I was
I
gonna
mean,
say,
how many?
if we're gonna talk about things that should have been delayed a little longer, you want to talk about Cyberpunk?
Well, you knew exactly where I was going. So,
Yep.
I don't know that we've covered Cyberpunk on here before. Cyberpunk 2077, developed by CD Projekt Red, who are famous for the Witcher series,
Phenomenal series.
which are right, fantastic series. They're a very well known and at least used to be well respected development house. Their latest IP, Cyberpunk 2077, was delayed a few times.
Yep.
It's been in development, I think, since 2016.
It's been in for a while.
Yeah, it's been in for a while. Game dropped back in, what was it, November
I
of this
think,
past year?
yeah, I
No,
think so.
Sorry, December.
I think it was,
November, December.
yeah,
I
right,
don't know,
right.
whatever.
Holiday.
Holiday, yeah, holiday. Where? Sorry. Um, yes. So holiday time, and it wasn't a very smooth
Yeah.
release. The game is very buggy,
It
and
was.
some of it is game-breaking bugs. And
Especially if you're playing it on a first gen PlayStation 4 or Xbox One. Like my hearts go out to any of our listeners that have had to go through that with this game. I've been fortunate enough to I have it on. Well, I originally bought it the PS4 copy for my PlayStation 5. And then my wife decided she wanted to start playing it, so I bought it on my PC. Now I will say, like on a the newer consoles or on PC, the game does run a lot better, especially after the multiple patches they had put out. And they just released a new one yesterday, I think it was. But we'll get to that. But after the patches, I mean, at least from my experience, I'm really thoroughly enjoying the game. It's an immense world, lots of stuff to do, and even though my wife and I are playing it kind of in tandem, we're still getting a different experience on it. Like we've statted our characters different ways, we picked a different background for our characters at character creation. Well, I mean, when we're experiencing it in different ways, so I mean, it's definitely something that I think I would play through again, maybe with a different character type, just to re-experience that.
Yeah.
But yeah, at launch and even up till now, it's been kind of rough uh, as far as game launches goes. But yeah, that's something that
It was a game that should have really been stayed in the cooker for probably another 6 months.
yeah,
In order, I mean, I get it. It was probably released to to try to drum up the holiday sales. The
yep,
game's already been in development for a while. Realistically, I think what happened is it was a marketing failure. Marketing put forth all of this stuff about it, like all the cool things that you can do, and then there was missed promises, missed deliveries,
yep,
a buggy game, a really crappy launch. Uh, and it's just it was a marketing failure, and CDPR hasn't really done a good job of owning up to it. They're kind of like doing a bit of the blame game, and then there was the whole crunch thing where
well, I will say
CDPR
that,
said that they would never do crunch, and then they come to find out that they were forcing crunch time development towards the
yep.
end.
Now, I will say though
Uh,
that one of their higher ups, I don't remember off the top of my head who it was, actually had a rather lengthy video that they put out on all their social medias, effectively saying, look, we dropped the ball on this. We like they are finally owning up to it, which is good. I mean, kind of trying to reestablish that goodwill with their player base. Um, I'm wondering though. I mean, again, I've got kind of the non-typical experience with the game, at least according to the internet anyway. But I'm wondering if it's almost one of those too little, too late things. Now, I mean, I know, granted, like at launch, just on pre-orders alone, they were more than recuperating all their costs on this game. Literally every copy sold outside of just their pre-orders was extra money in the bank for them. So I mean, they've gotten their money back, but after I know a lot of retailers, both physical and digital, were issuing refunds on the game. I'm wondering. I'd be interested to see after all those refunds were counted, how big of a hit that made them. If it did, they may still be sitting well into the positive on this game even after that. But I'd be curious. I don't know if they'll ever release that, but I'd be curious to see it.
yeah, it'd be interesting for sure. And I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I was software development for several years. It's hard.
Right?
And it's hard. It's hard, and it takes a lot, especially game development. There's so many moving pieces and moving parts. Like that's what I don't understand is when people get so pissy about a game being delayed. I'm like, okay, yeah, you wanted the game, but do you want the game, or do you game broken, which is what
Yeah.
Cyberpunk was, or do you want an actual working game that you can play and enjoy, and you're not waiting for day one patches, and
Right.
additional patches, and as Tim said a few minutes ago, there was a patch released not that long ago for maybe yesterday
Yeah.
for Cyberpunk, and I was reading an article a little bit ago actually. It's like, hey, they may have introduced another game breaking bug in this patch. It's like, oh, great, you're going the wrong direction, guys. We're trying to fix stuff so people
Yep.
can enjoy it, not just keep breaking it.
Well, and like I was reading through the patch notes on it yesterday, I'm like, okay, they're fixing a lot of the issues that I've heard people talking about, or at least starting the process of it. And then it was also kind of setting up the game for several of their other big fixes that they're coming out with, kind of getting it prepped and ready for that. And then now you're saying that, well, it's got a new game breaking bug. It's like they just can't win with this. And I remember kind of going off what you said a little bit ago. Back in my time when I was still with GameStop, anytime a game would get delayed, we'd always have somebody that apparently doesn't know what the internet is who would come in on the original launch day and go, What do you mean I can't get my copy of that game? Oh, well, it got delayed a month. What's rah 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 rah? I'm so mad. I want my money back. Rah rah rah. And they'd still come in a month and get the game anyway. But I agree 100%. I would much rather something that I'm looking forward to getting delayed, to get some extra polish on it, to add something to it, whatever have you. I would much rather wait a little bit than get it right away and have a sour experience on it. And I know that that's kind of contradictory to what I said at the top of the show, talking about when I order something, I want it now. But, when it comes to
Yeah, but you're ordering effectively a completed product there. There's a
yeah.
difference between ordering, ordering a book.
Yeah, if I order a book, I don't expect to get halfway through and go, oh, chapters 12 through 13 through 15 are missing. I have to wait on them to finish writing that. I'll just go ahead and skip to chapter 16. You don't. You don't do that with a book.
Right, unless EA becomes a publisher, book publisher.
Oh God!
In which case, then it's microtransactions, and you have to you purchase the book and you get chapters 1 through 7. But in order to get chapters, the remaining chapters, it's microtransactions. You need to purchase each subsequent chapter.
Oh, don't forget about the chapter 5 add-on where your character's wearing a red shirt instead of a green shirt in that book.
Correct. So all of the terms that are red or descriptors for green are changed to red in the copy.
I don't know why, but that just reminds me of the old Oblivion Horse Armor DLC.
Oh man, yeah, the Oblivion Horse Armor DLC is some of the worst paid for DLC that people had. And then
let's take it. Truth time. I bought the Horse Armor DLC.
Well, yes, that's because you're also a strange completionist whore that doesn't mind paying for stupid crap.
Well, like the fact on that armor, it literally didn't do anything other than make your horse look different. But I mean, now, people laugh about that, and yet we live in a culture where people are buying, clothes for their Fortnite character that literally don't do anything other than make your character look different. And everybody's perfectly okay with that.
Oh, come on, man.
But yet the horse armor.
Are you saying that purchasing the flossing dance was a bad investment?
I mayhaps. Now, that being said, like, I've recently, my son, because a lot of his friends at school play Fortnite, I'm like, you know what? I'll let him try it out and whatnot. And he had a little bit of allowance money, so he goes, well, hey, can I buy some V-Bucks on Fortnite with my allowance money? I'm like, okay, sure. So I, put in my credit card, bought him some V-Bucks, took his cash. And the first thing he does is buys, the full complete battle pass of the season and is running around dressed as Mando.
Well, I mean,
so I'm okay with that part.
Right. In this case, I am absolutely okay with it. Now, I will completely and totally caveat my opinions here, folks, in that I have not played a second one of Fortnite or PUBG or Paladins or something, Valorant or something like that. These shooter
like
battle royale games.
Yeah,
arena battle royale games. I generally do not like them. I do not enjoy 13-year-olds killing me continuously and then teabagging my corpse and whatnot. I played Halo in high school. Yep. I got enough of that then, and in point of fact, actually, I was pretty good at Halo. So usually I was the jackass that was teabagging people.
No, you a jackass? No, not you, Ian. You've never been a jackass in Halo.
Shut up. So, yeah, I've got my opinions on those types of games, but they're not for me. If you enjoy them, more power to you. And I will say that what is it, Apex Legends, which is another one of those. I did play that a little bit. A different take on the battle royale, but it was one that I thought it worked, and I liked the mechanics of it, and it was a very polished game. So I will begrudgingly give EA some props on that one, even though they didn't do anything. That was
I mean, you played.
That was the studio that did Titanfall.
Yeah.
Respawn.
Yeah.
Entertainment did that. So
now, so you played Overwatch for a good while, though, didn't you?
I did.
I mean, that's not really an arena battle royale game, though.
Yeah, it wasn't an arena battle. I mean, that was more team based, co-op based. Which, I mean, you still, in that case, in the case of like a PUBG, you can only rage at everyone else shooting you. In this, you rage at the people shooting you and then rage at your incompetent teammates who don't stand on the goddamn point. So, yeah, I mean, I did play those. I played Heroes of the Storm, different again, different style thing. I
Yeah.
played League of Legends. I mean, it's all different arena style things. Anymore. I'm just not a PvP type gamer. I don't have a lot of time in my life to game. Why am I going to spend it getting shot in the face?
Right now, like a lot of like Fortnite. You know, I played a couple rounds before I let my son play it just to kind of see. Well, is this something that, because this is the first, apart from the Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare games, this is the first shooter game that I've let him play. And I'm like, you know what? I want to try it out myself. You know, trying to be a responsible parent. I wanted to try it out myself. See, you know, is this something appropriate for him? Is this something that I think that he'll be able to play? And I'm like, all right, so I've got all the in-game chat stuff turned off. He doesn't have a headset or anything. He plays it on his Switch. Uh, and I'm like, you know what? I'll give it a shot, see how it goes. And yeah, I've played a couple rounds with him. I have it installed on my PS5 only because he's like, hey Dad, do you want to play a couple rounds? And we'll start up a team and go like that. But yeah, kind of same thing for me. Those kind of games, I see where the appeal is, but I am not their target audience. I'm more the kind of person where I enjoy RPGs, I enjoy story-driven games, I enjoy a game that if I'm going to sit down for 6 hours, it's not yeah, I got my kill death ratio up to blah blah blah. It's no, I did 40 missions in this game, and I discovered a new secret hidden island with a new story quest line there. Stuff like that where I feel like I've actually, not saying that playing shooter type games isn't an accomplishment, because there are some people that do it professionally. They do that as their income. But to me, I feel more accomplished in a story based game. You know,
Yep.
because I feel
And then
like
there's the
I've gotten an experience out of it.
right, and then there's Raft, which you and I have played quite a
Yep.
lot of,
Yes, we have. Which
which
they're very
it
bare bones minimal story, but we always feel like we accomplished something.
correct, such as creating the Sharknado 5 and the giant hulking behemoth that is our cruise ship.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
it's a
you
thing of
know,
beauty.
it truly is a thing of beauty. Look out, maybe we'll do a we play video up on YouTube here in the near future.
There we
Um,
go.
Tim and I have known each other many years. We do
Mm,
play games together occasionally.
yep.
Lately, the last time it was Left 4 Dead 2.
Which was a lot of. We
Um,
need to do that again.
we do need to do that again. It was a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Need to continue that motion going. Yeah, we've been gamers for a long time. We've known each other for many years, and one of the things that unfortunately, I guess I don't know, unfortunately, but I moved away, and I lost my core tabletop gaming gaming group, which was Tim and our friend Kevin and our other friends. So I've been kind of out of the tabletop game for a while, and I know you've been playing. You lead tabletop games. Hell, you've got a dedicated space specifically for tabletop games. So
Yep.
you know I'm missing it, and I'd love to get back into it. And Tim and I have talked about being able to do like virtual tabletopping.
Right. Which
So
for me, like my normal gaming group, obviously with everything going on in the world right now, have not been able to meet up, and sadly, they're not really interested in doing the online thing, because most of the people that, since Ian has moved, most of the people that I game with are your long time like Dungeons and Dragons players, or whatever game system have you, that they're used to sitting there at the table, looking somebody in the eyes while they're talking to them. It's that familiarity to them, and you don't really. I mean, obviously you lose that when you're doing a virtual table, but like I'm a big fan of it because it means, hey, you can still keep gaming, you can still keep doing the thing you love. And yeah, like Ian said, I have a dedicated space with it, for tabletop gaming. I've got like 3 or 4 chests of dice, around my office here. A whole shelf full of various game system RPG books. It's always something that, I mean, you Kevin and I, are the ones that kind of started it. Playing the EverQuest tabletop, and at my mom's old house till God, when the sun would come up, we'd be like, well, we should maybe wrap it up. It's breakfast time.
right, your mom's slowly crawling out of the back room to make a pot of coffee. We're still sitting there hyped up on Mountain Dew and Fritos.
Yep. Sometimes the occasional Fago Red Pop.
Yes, sometimes the occasional Faygo Red Pop. Kevin and I scheming about the next way that we could piss
Oh
you off.
God, Ugh. Dude, I still remember and you know exactly what story I'm gonna bring up.
Yes.
Killing a god with effectively a magical enema.
Yep.
Like
Killing a god with a magical enema. Maybe next time, folks, we'll go into that a little bit more detail. I think we've got a tabletop session planned for the future.
Yep,
So,
we do.
we can go in and hint on some of our old anecdotes, because we've played quite a few. I mean, you've obviously played more game types than I
Mhm.
have, but I'm just trying to think of the stuff that we played. There was, I think we did a little bit of, oh, I can't
I know
remember the game now, but
we
there,
did EverQuest, we did Bessem, we
yep.
did
Oh yeah, Bessem.
we did that
Uh,
that homebrew Mega Man game that I ran for like a month.
Yep, yep. There was that one.
Yep,
There was standard Dungeons and Dragons.
yep,
We did do standard D&D.
yep.
We did Shadow. I think we did a little bit of Shadowrun.
Little bit, yep.
Did some Vampire, the Masquerade. That
Did
type of universe.
did I do
Uh,
Vampire? I did Vampire. I didn't think you were in any of the groups that did
I
Vampire.
I think right, but you guys started it, and I played I think one session before I went to college.
That yeah. I remember that. And then well, because that I remember that game. I was a player in that one, and the guy that was GMing had never GM'd it before. Well, he had never,
Mm.
yeah. So he didn't know anything about it, didn't bother to look at the rules, and he goes, "Yeah, I just don't want to do this." Well, so one of the other players that kind of introduced us to the system's like, "Well, I've played a couple games, I'll run it." He did one and went, I just want to play." So I'm like, "Screw it, give me the books, I'll do it."
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it was
something. I
fun.
mean, it takes some planning and some thought. It's
Oh,
not just
absolutely.
as simple as going and putting in Baldur's Gate 2 and calling it a day.
Right, exactly. I mean, sometimes it can be.
Sometimes.
But yeah, like you said, we've got another episode of tabletop stuff planned, so we'll get to that more next time. But no, I think we talked about just about everything we were wanting to today.
Yep, I think we've kind of covered the gamut. Our non sequiturs continue to go as they do. But we're about out of time for today, folks. So I think we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. For non sequitur nerds, I'm Tim.
I'm Ian apparently.
Yeah, that was the joke.
Okay. Yeah, that's the thing that we had totally talked about and planned. Yes,
Sometimes you got to throw him a curveball, folks. It keeps him on his toes. And
apparently.
also to have, see if he was paying attention.
I
But
mean,
anyway, so I'm Ian.
and I'm Tim. We'll catch y'all later.
Have a good night.